Hello to all you Trinity killers, Bay Harbor butchers, and you ice truck killers. My name is EJ Marino, and welcome back to my channel. After taking last week off, I am back for the finale of Dexter Original Sin. Is it the season finale? Is it the series finale? We do not know yet, but I do know I liked this episode. We are talking about the finale, Code Blues. Again, I want to say sorry that I missed last week's Dexter episode. I was at the Critics' Choice Awards in Santa Monica, California. If you have not seen my photos from it, here are some right now. It was a joyous experience, but I am honestly, truly happy to be back with you all, talking about this final episode of Dexter Original Sin. I have just reviewed Yellow Jackets on my channel. The first two episodes have dropped. I have a review for them. You guys can check it out somewhere up here. But overall, I'm just like, in the mood for some good killer TV, and I liked this finale so much. Maybe it's the American Horror Story brain rot that I have, but I see a finale for a TV show that I like, and I just prepare for the worst. I just truly was expecting this to have us on a cliffhanger, which it slightly does. I was expecting this to not really go as gung-ho as it did on the Brian stuff after you kind of started teasing us with it. Like, please don't just backtrack now. No, they did try to retcon some stuff. They did try to add Brian, especially at the beginning of this episode, to show us his journey, show us how we are going to be, 15 years later, meeting him. It was interesting. It's not maybe the most seamless storytelling method I've ever seen, but honestly, for a prequel series of Dexter, this is as best as we could get, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. I like seeing Dexter perfect his killing. I like seeing Dexter play Batman for a second, where, Spencer went full Joker and was like, here's this choice or this choice, make it, haha, and then he ran away, and I'm like, oh, you think Dexter's not going to still get you? You think this is still not going to work? Come on, be smart about it. You know this man is good, but I guess maybe Spencer did not know Dexter was going to be as good as he is, because Dexter has perfected his method of, curving his blood rage. He saved somebody, and he still got the kill and disposed of the body amazingly. Look at that. Dexter is at a great spot. We also got a little bit more of Deb's journey to see where she eventually joins the police force. It's all pretty great. This was a solid episode. My goodness, what a refreshing moment for a finale of a show to be good. I honestly expected them to kill Harry in this episode, and they didn't even do that, and I was fine. I was just like, ooh, this does leave the door open. If Harry's not dead, even though we know how he's going to perish, that is fine. I did not need that right now. I think this was really interesting because if the show ends with Dexter Original Sin never coming back, or if it does come back for another season, they left it in a good spot. It's very rare that I've seen an open-ended ending like this that actually works, that I go, you know what? I know where these characters are going to go. I don't need you to spell out everything or show me every major turning point that led them to this choice. I'm fine with that. But at the same time, you give me a season 2, Harry offs himself at the end of that one, then I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I can see there's a lot of good here that I don't have much to complain about. I actually don't even have much to say about this episode because it was short, simple, and to the point. It delivered exactly the finale we needed for Dexter Original Sin. So enough of this review section. Let's get into the recap so we can close this chapter off on Dexter Original Sin. We are privileged to have a wonderful Brian opening. Yes, Brian kind of explains what he's been up to, what's been happening the last couple years. The last episode we saw him stalking Deb and everything like that. So we're kind of seeing him acknowledge his position as like, you know what, I'm going to get Dexter. I am, he forgot about me. This isn't what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. Woe is me. And I'm like, okay, Brian, chill. But, same thing. Harry just says the same thing when they finally get to confront each other. Harry's just like, bro, Dexter has repressed those memories. You're fighting a battle that honestly one side of them doesn't even really remember, which we will know Dexter will end up unearthing all these memories and things like that as we see them face off in season 1. But yeah, overall, it was just like, ooh, this moment with Brian and Harry was interesting. It was powerful. It told exactly the story that I wanted them to tell. Harry did not do a good thing here. I think Harry messed up really bad, and Harry knows that, and I think that's why, between starting the killing of Dexter and doing what he did to Brian and kind of leaving him behind, I can definitely see Harry's wrong, but I also see Harry's right for what he did with his two kids. He did do the best he can with Dexter and Deb and Brian stuff. That's the system. The way he was treated was beyond just what Harry could have controlled. So I do think it's interesting. They have a confrontation. I liked it. I thought that was exactly how they should be. We do see them, get into a scuffle, and Brian's able to go off, and we see at the very end, he's watching them. He's stalking them. He now knows of this whole family unit, but I guess it takes him about 15 years to really perfect his ice truck killing plan. On the other half of this episode, we have Deb trying to figure out where she is going in life. She can no longer play volleyball. She is just trying to find her place. And as we saw in the last episode and we see here, she's inspired by LaGuerta. She's inspired by Tanya Martin. I mean, I'm always inspired by Sarah Michelle Gellar. I was in the same room with her. Oh, that changed my life a little bit. But yeah, I really this was Deb's thing. I do think timeline-wise, I'm it takes you how long? I guess she has to go through police academy, and I guess that, when we see her, she's still doing undercover in Vice. So I guess the timelines do match up. I don't know the police force. I'm not even going to pretend I can tell you how long it's going to take for her to get here, but I do like seeing her start this journey. I think Deb, seeing her throughout this show, it was always meant to be this rough and tough police officer. She wasn't going to have the glamorous girl life that she kind of wanted. It's very early 90s. That's kind of what every girl wanted, but by the mid 90s, we know Gen X was I'm over it. Let's get into the grunge. Let's get into the angst. Let's get into the filth nasty. And yeah, that's kind of where we're going to see this character go throughout as we join her eventually on. I like this. I think the Deb character was the biggest struggle for me. I did not like her. I did not think she brought me back to Jennifer Carpenter. It was a struggle. But by the end of the show, I actually quite liked Deb. And I think her character had a lot to say and a lot to do. And I thought she was great. The acting was fine. Overall, this was a character, I will say, Dexter Original Sin, other than having a great finale that I was not let down by, they also redeemed a character by the end of the show. I don't know what they're doing over here at Dexter Original Sin, but for real, other shows need to take notes. This is what happens when you actually follow through with a story and make me invested. Yes, I went from hating to loving, but that's good. I went through a character arc myself. The show allowed me to have a character arc through a character. Decent TV is so hard to find nowadays that even the bare minimum is making me happy. But as we know, the star of the show is Dexter, and Dexter is doing what he needs to do this episode. He finally gets his confrontation with Spencer, and he's just let's... And I'm oh, Dexter, what are you going to do? Dexter needs, and I've always felt this way, Dexter needs some kung fu classes. He really needs to Batman ninja himself a bit more, because he is not the fighter, he's not the gunsman. There's just something off about Dexter. Sometimes he does remind me of Batman. He does have this Bruce Wayne, here's my daytime persona, my nighttime persona. I see the Batman quality, but if Dexter's going to be Batman, I'm going to need you to hand-to-hand combat a bit better. Yeah, but there's this moment where we're seeing, him follow Spencer to where he needs to go. He gets the kid, which is Dexter thinking smart, but Dexter also gets faced with this task. You can go kill me. Spencer knows you're going to get me, but also I'm going to drown my son. Are you going to be able to do that? And Dexter has this face, he's facing this ultimatum, basically, and he gets to do both. Yes, he's just I'll save the kid. I will find you later. He finds Spencer at the baby mama's house. We find out that the kid was a product of an affair, which I believe some people even suggested that in my comments. It's such a lazy, whack reasoning. That's probably my only complaint, but that's honestly beyond the show. That's just the shitty character motive. If this would have happened in real life, I still would have thought it was a shitty motivation for it. But yeah, overall, fine. Dexter gets his kill. Dexter gets to perfect it. He chops up the body, throws it in the boat. We now have Dexter where he should be. This finale did such a good job of getting our characters to where they should be. We have Harry conflicted, we have Deb starting the police force, and we have Dexter perfecting his killing methods. It's exactly where I wanted these characters to end up at. Yeah, I did think Harry was going to die, and I thought Dexter was maybe going to take a little bit longer to kind of get his system out. He's still not perfect. Dexter still has some work and progress to do before we meet him in the beginning of the series of the original Dexter. But yeah, overall, really thought this was fine. I thought Dexter, Deb, and Harry getting to have that moment at the end that wasn't spoiled by some bomb going off, or Harry had the heart attack or something, or Harry left it I'm gonna go to the bathroom. He kapoos himself. None of that happened. It was like a nice, easy ending, and I just was overall impressed that the show started strong and ended strong. I know that sounds like, again, I'm being so condescending to the show, but when TV can barely offer us a solid season, when Dexter Original Sin can do it, that means everyone can do it. We have now completed the journey of Dexter Original Sin. I quite like the show. I quite like this finale. What did you all think of Dexter? Are you guys going to be checking out Resurrection? Do you want me to check out Resurrection? Keep in mind, stay subscribed, stay all that. I will talk about more Dexter if you want me to. But now, guys, on my channel, I'm talking about Yellow Jackets. Next week, I have a ranking of every Ryan Murphy production. Not every asterisk. There's some that I'm like, am I really going to have to talk about this show? We'll get to it when we get to it. I cannot wait for you all to see that fun, jam-packed video. But make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys comment and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. YouTube takes those way too seriously. All right, everyone, let's talk about the finale of Dexter Original Sin right down below.